Well, hello everybody! Welcome back to G-Bear's Off-Grid Ways, as it said in the beginning. And I got a few comments, helpful comments, and I'm going to turn the music down on the intro so that it's not so loud. From my end, it doesn't sound very loud, but I did get a request for it, so I'll try that on this video. In the meantime, the dogs are doing their thing. Just gave them all a cookie for being so good while I was out here working today. Today I started with doing battery service on the batteries. Boy, how time flies. I can't believe it was September the last time I did battery service. But that's what it said on my records on my chart. So I marked it as 1/6 as the day that I did it for 2024, this first battery service of 2024. So I try to get to them every 2 to 3 months anyway, but in the winter when I'm putting a little bit more hard labor on my batteries, I like to do them a little sooner. So I can't believe I let it go like 3 months before I actually got to it. But then again, I'm doing fine. I got battery power for the nighttime and so forth. So anyway, what did I do today? Well, besides the battery service, which took up about an hour and a half of my time, and they did, a few of those batteries needed some distilled water, so that's all done. And then I came into the shop here. I got a phone call from an old friend. His name is Dave, and any of you out there, please drop Dave in your prayers. He's just been diagnosed with prostate cancer, and that's not a good thing. His father died of that, and I was a good friend of his father's too. So that's not a good thing. Everybody, if you please, drop him a prayer. All right, besides that, I got in here and I actually hooked up my inverter to this Optima battery that I have in here. And it's running off of the old Harbor Freight control right there, the charge controller. And ignore this. But that came from the old 45-watt Chicago Electric Power System, and this is open circuit voltage of 23.6 volts, nominal battery output voltage 13.5. You can see I'm at 13.3, and it's an overcast day, so I'm not getting, you can see there's no real shadows out there, just one light one going through, so I'm not getting really good direct sunlight, and I've only got 2 of the 15-watt solar panels up on the roof up there, on the old Harbor Freight panels. One of them I put on my motorhome or something. But anyway, I'm running it on 30 watts of solar power. And here I'm getting 13.3 on an overcast day. All right, so the battery is definitely in its full charge state. And I got the inverter hooked up. I had to make a terminal end here because it had this type of terminal on it, and I couldn't use that on this type of battery. So I made a couple of those terminal ends out of an old piece of copper tubing that I had. That's where I cut it off. So I can make one more out of this if I want to take the time to clean it up, but we'll see. All right. So I wanted to show you with a little setup like this, one battery, and of course you'd want at least 100 amps and a better charge controller. 100 watts, I mean, and a better charge controller. You could probably even use the one I just did a review on, this little MPPT right here. And I was questioned on whether it's really an MPPT or not. Yes, I did check one other video where a guy put it on the meter and checked it. And yes, it is or he says that it definitely is MPPT. So that one will handle up to 300 watts of solar, but you can't hook your solar panels in series. That's a positive, negative, because the voltage would be too high. So you want to definitely keep the voltage down by connecting your 100-watt solar panels in parallel. That's all the positives together and all the negatives together, and you can run 300 watts through that little unit. And then you can have an inverter like this, and this one is 2,000 watt to 3,000 watt maximum. So anyway, if I turn it on here, we'll watch the old Harbor Freight unit over there. Well, it took 2/10 of an amp, or 2/10 of a volt, sorry, to just to power the inverter. Now remember, this is modified sine wave, not pure sine wave. So I got my 5.5 amp 120 volt drill plugged in, and we'll watch the voltage over there. Still doing okay on the voltage. It's dropping. Of course, you never run a drill this long, but, and you would also have better input. But we'll keep an eye on that, and you'll watch it in a few minutes. Even on an overcast day, it'll climb back up again. So, yeah, we're back up to 12.7 already. It'll get back to 13 in no time at all. So anyway, this is a great little setup that you can use if you had to go out and do some work with power tools on your future homestead. And you just set this unit up inside of your vehicle, put it in the trunk, and then you could just run it, put a couple of solar panels outside the trunk, and run everything from there. Now you can get yourself a single large solar panel. It would be like a 300 watt solar panel, and that little controller I showed you, this one right here from Batteria Power. You can go back a couple of videos ago and you'll see that I've got a link for this, and I do get a commission if anybody buys one, so that works out for me. And this little unit will do the job for you. So you can run 300 watts of solar into it, and then you can run your inverter off of it, and you can run your power tools off the inverter, and you're all set for doing some work outside. And we're already back up to 12.9, so it's climbing back fast, even with only 30 watts of power, which is peanuts. You don't want 30 watts of power ever. You want a minimum of 100 watts. 300 watts, if you can run it, that's even better. So, hey, great little off-grid system, portable system, works great. All right, the other thing I had a few people mention was about possibly making a cast mold or something like that, and making this impeller for this motor instead of having to buy it. Okay, a couple of things, and I mentioned it to them, is first of all, this has to be very flexible. It's made of neoprene rubber. It's soft and flexible. This is one from the Harbor Freight size unit, and you can see it's all googled up in there. Well, this one overheated too. It didn't break any of the ears, but it separated the adhesive from the center brass fitting, which goes on the shaft. And if you don't have a metal fitting on the inside there, it'll wear out very quickly, because, as you can see, if I place this on top of here where it's going to go, it doesn't fit in there. It doesn't drop in. The only way it's going to fit in there is if you bend all of the lobes in the same direction first. Let's not easy one-handed. But yeah, you have to bend all of the lobes, and you see how they're curled. Okay, so that's the way that it fits in there. So it's got to be very flexible. So you can't do it with plastics or anything like that. It has to be made of rubber. So not really worth my time. Now, somebody mentioned taking some super fine sandpaper and working a figure-8 direction on the plate in order to clean it up. Okay, now I can feel that there's a valley in there, is a low spot from where the Impella had worn itself out on here, and you can see where it's burnt because it was running dry and hot. Now that's a polished piece of stainless steel, and so is the one that's down at the bottom here. So I would have to get both of those out, and I could put my buffing wheel over here, one of the buffing wheels, on the grinder, and then I've got these buffing units. I could also put that one in a drill and use it that way, and I could buff those units up. But because they're worn and they've got a little valley in them, that won't work. Now, if this has anything other than a good shine to it, a very smooth polished shine, it's just going to wear the face of the Impella out very quickly, and it's trash again. So I think they designed that into the feature so you can't fix them. You have to buy the parts from them. Anyway, this one I put some hot wax into it and tried to, it separated from the brass piece, and I haven't tried it yet, but I was going to try that and put it back in the pump that I have and see if I can get that pump running again, just for the heck of it, just playing around with experimentation. But I can buy these online, Amazon or eBay. They sell them in packs of like 3 for $12 or something like that. So these aren't that expensive. This one, I'm not sure what they're going to charge for it, but I'll find out sooner or later down the line. All right, so that's about it, everybody. I want to thank you for joining me today. Questions and comments below. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up. One more thing, a shout out to somebody that was a long time ago, back in the beginning, was a steady subscriber who watched my videos religiously daily with her husband, who, rest his soul, is gone now. And I just heard from her today. She sent me an email letting me know that she's still alive, and she has few problems, but she still watches my videos, and she still remembers me talking to her husband about rock tree leaves. And for those of you who don't know what rock tree leaves are, it's all these little stones that are all over the ground. Now, he understood that because we rake those up to get them out from under our feet when we walk around in the summertime. I walk around barefoot all year round because I'm bare and these are my feet. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. This is G Bear signing off.